We want to get into the segment, guys?
Yeah, I'm ready. So what let's remind our listeners, what's the segment again?
So the segment is whatever happened to those guys and gals. Whatever happened to those guys. We've each come up with a couple of bands that maybe put a couple albums out that were awesome, that we loved, and either disappeared or, maybe the group changed, or it just didn't have the same dynamic after that, or just they put out one or two and that was it. We just never heard from them again. So it's not a negative connotation. It's more, why didn't we get more out of this band or this group? We had a couple put together for you. I think I got two. You guys probably have two each for sure.
I got a couple.
Yep. And it's it was an interesting text exchange when we were talking about what do we want to do this week. This was a cool, like, I came up with probably 7 or 8 right off the bat, and then I narrowed it down to a couple. I was like, these two will be fun to talk about. So with that being said, who wants to lead us off?
And one caveat, and I think this is given if you've listened to us, we didn't tell each other what we were picking, so we're reacting to the other person in real time. So hopefully we didn't overlap. We might have, and if we did, we got backups.
We've done it before. It's worked. Who's going first? Nate, you go first. Yeah.
Me? All right. I have a feeling someone might have chosen this, so this is funny you just said that. Yeah. This is a short-lived act, although upon some deep digging, I think, Tony, you actually know this more than me, is they've been around for quite a while. They're from Iceland.
Yes, they're on my list, but I didn't do them because I was worried that one of us would do it.
I know who it is. Go ahead.
I am excited.
Quarashi.
Yes.
From Iceland dropped their album that we all know. Many people are maybe familiar with, maybe not. They're kind of underground to an extent, called Quarashi. The album is called Jinx. And such an awesome album. I think it's a front to back. And I was a bit, we've talked about Beastie Boys on this podcast. There's a lot of similarities between them and Beastie Boys. Obviously, they got some influence from them. But yeah, they're all the way from Iceland, so they kind of are a small little grassroots group of kids that kind of organically grew from 97. They dropped an album. 99, they dropped an album. 01. But in 02, yeah, Jinx came out, and it's just a badass record, man. I love that album. You guys remember checking out that album, I'm sure.
What was the lead single? Stick 'em Up or?
Stick 'em Up.
Stick 'em Up
was the lead single. Yep.
And that did it get radio play? I think it
got radio play. Yeah, MTV had the video. There was like a boxing match. Yeah, yep.
They even did a licensee deal with Smirnoff. I don't know if you guys remember that Smirnoff Ice.
No.
One of the members is in the commercial and everything. I remember seeing it, be like, "Oh my god!" And
I had no idea.
Yeah, man, I think it might be on YouTube. And they're playing one of the songs in the background. I can't remember which one, but I remember seeing it, being like, "Man, I don't think anyone in this room knows that that's a band from Iceland."
You're like, that's Quarashi. Like, bro, that first album's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, their first major release. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So those other ones you were talking about, Nate, those came out in Iceland. I ended up going back and trying to download. This is in my pirating music days. Don't come after me. And I found their albums that came out not in America. Jinx was the major American debut and the only one that we ever got, really, for the most part. So
interesting factoid, Nate, and sorry to cut you off. That album is not on Spotify. Jinx is not on Spotify.
Really?
So there's something legally there, or with a label or something.
So I won't be able to put them on the playlist? This is the one that I was talking about before we started. I was like, I want to put them on the playlist.
So they there's other albums on there, but not Jinx.
Okay, so I'll find some stuff.
Yeah, and I don't have the quote here, but the reference to Beastie Boys, I mean, it's obvious. Like, you can hear it. It sounds like the Beastie Boys almost. And I remember reading something from Mike D, and I don't have a quote for quote here, but he was actually pissed. Like, yeah, we're going to start making music again. This is before they dropped, like, I think 2 or 3 records ago. Around the time this came out, and they're like, "Oh, we need to put a record out because there's some people putting stuff out there that's a total ripoff of what we're doing." I'm like, "Oh, I know what they're referencing without saying it, but it's actually really freaking good." So I hope they give it the time of day.
I love the Beasties, don't get me wrong, but a lot of what they did was sample from people, so slow down a little bit.
Yeah. So what year was Jinx? 01?
2002. April 9th, 2002.
02.
Nice.
So then what happens? I mean, that, like you said, commercials, radio, Do we know what happened after?
They had members kind of slowly drop off. So
Yep.
I actually almost had the chance to see them in Boston. They were doing a $2 bill tour, MTV $2 bill tour, and it was like Andrew WK and Apex Theory, and they had another band kind of sub in and out with them, and it was the date I saw wasn't with Quarashi. Unfortunately, I wish it was, but yeah, that was like the
was
one.
Was that the date with Lost Prophets?
It was. Yep. This
Yeah,
is at the Axis.
There's a bunch of things we're not going to open there, but yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, so they weren't on that date with the Axis. Yeah, this is an 02. This stub is literally like $2. Pretty sweet. But yeah.
So yeah, like you said, Nate, the members dropped off. The there are two guys that rap. One has kind of a higher voice. One I don't know their names, and they're probably hard to even read or write because they're Icelandic. But for me anyway. But there are two guys that rapped, and the kind of higher pitched guy, he left after this album. And they brought in another guy who sounds just like him, which is always the case with bands, right? Like, how can we fill that hole that we had before? Let's find the person that sounds just like him. So they put an album out in 04, 04, I think, called Gorilla Disco, which has some pretty good songs on it. Came out in Iceland in 04 and came out in Japan in 05. We never saw it here in the States. I just downloaded it because I found it on the internet. So it's got some cool songs on it. It's them with just, the two rappers and, the rap rock type thing. It's very similar to Jinx. Not quite as good, but very similar.
I can't pronounce any of the names. I'm looking at the Wikipedia right now just to pull up
just
the names.
They can't pronounce my Italian name, so.
Well, no, it's funny because I'm looking at the names and like the first thing that comes to my mind is Nomar Slevik because it's got like that.
Yeah,
it's got that same kind of look.
Shouts to Nomar for the song, the intro. But yeah, that album was great. That album was great.
So freaking good. Yeah, so they kind of went away, and I guess they officially broke up in 2005. So members were kind of dropping off. New members are coming in, like you said, that sounded identical. So maybe people wouldn't notice, or at least it was close enough to keep the legacy going. But yeah, they officially called it quits in 05. And I actually tried to like find the members, like try to get them on maybe.
No,
and,
of course you did.
just get some intel, maybe even for this segment, just like, I actually spoken. So forth. But yeah, man, they're like kind of a mystery band, and it's even more of a mystery now with the Spotify thing. Like maybe there's a legal battle there between territories. They're in Iceland, but their music rights are owned in the US, or yeah, it's probably pretty messy, unfortunately.
Yeah, Jinx came out on Columbia, and that was obviously their only American release. But I remember going to it was like a flea market type thing with Twan and buying that CD for like $4, and I wore that fucking thing out. I listened to it all the time.
Sweet.
I have one of those 12 by 12 flats, like the cardboard posters of Jinx, which I can't imagine there's too many people in Maine that have one of those.
No, you might be the only one because I don't have it, and I'm a huge fan. So.
But yeah, that album was a banger. Like they fit the narrative of where'd you go? Because I wanted more out of you. And I mean,
gosh, yeah,
it sounds like they were still doing stuff, but like. They broke up in 05, so you only got 2 or 3 more years out of them. I wonder what they're doing right now. You know what I mean? If they're still involved with music or what.
I had a electric press kit is what it was called. It was basically like a DVD. They used to be on VHS, but an electric press kits from the record label to kind of showcase the band, how and where they came about and so forth. And it actually was filmed in Iceland, and one of them is the member like on his like lobster boat. So like they're definitely like blue collar.
Nice.
Yeah, so this was like a lucky strike with their band to get signed major, tour the U.S., maybe on enough tour support for one run. Greg from Zebra had kind of alluded to what tour support is from the label to actually get on the road. But maybe it just ran dry, and Columbia was like, well, you sold some records, but we're definitely not going to press another album for you. And they had to go indie, but they only had enough financials for them to tour maybe in Iceland. I don't really know. I just like you said, I wanted more so badly, and it's actually one of the few records from like a band that's kind of small time that I would love to have that on wax. To have that on vinyl would be dope. Yeah.
Was it ever pressed, Jinx?
I don't think so.
And if it was, it's so long out of print that it would be expensive.
I haven't seen it, but I'm like, man, like I wish there was a way to just like request things to get pressed. That's a business idea for someone. Obviously, it's pretty complicated legally, but
Yeah.
Well, it's like the whole pre-order process. They could do a some type of like a GoFundMe or
Mm-hmm.
what's the Kickstarter to do something like that.
And Nate, you said that there might be some where they're not on Spotify. There might be a legal battle with that too. So who knows? We may never see something like that. So lame. Check out Mr. Jinx. That beat is so cool. I love that album. That song is great. It's
so good.
It's just such a good. It's a front to back. There's not a bad song on there. If you grew up with that kind of music, that kind of rap rock, but they came at it a little differently coming from Iceland. So it was unique. There wasn't much sound. There was stuff that sounded like Beastie Boys, but their vocals and the way that kind of hit was different. So that was cool.
In the album, there is an album on Spotify. It's called Anthology, which has looks like everything from Jinx.
They dropped that in 2011. That was probably a cash grab of some sort, but I get it. Like, why not?
Oh yeah, it's 54 tracks, so it's
So I'll find something then. Don't worry, guys. Check the playlist. It'll be good.
Nice, sweet.
That's a good pull, Nate.
All right, Nate, you ready to do your next one?
I am. You guys, do you have any guesses?
Ooh, give us a tiny little hint.
90s.
That's a tiny hint. Early or late? I mean, this could be.
Like mid 90s.
Okay.
I would guess, but I think it's the one I'm gonna do next. So I'm gonna.
Okay, go ahead, Nate. Just give it to us because I'm scatterbrained.
Okay. This is actually, this isn't like any small time act, but I loved this guy in middle school. I remember hearing him at Mike Danboys' house back in the day and being like, damn, this shit's badass. And he had a good career for a while, man. 96 to 2012, he was going pretty strong. And I feel like he just disappeared, like literally vanished. And I actually ran into him when I lived in New York City. He like looked like he was going to beat me up. I was like, dude, sorry, man. I just happened to walk by you. It's Busta Rhymes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Awesome lyricist, awesome rapper. But yeah, man, he just like went away and I don't really know what's going on there. And I did do a quick wiki to do just a little research, and it looks like he's dropping an album in 2020. So it's a little timely. But so maybe he had the same question, like, where did I go? Should drop an album.
Yeah, good call.
Well, he was on that Chris Brown "Look at Me Now." Was that?
Yeah, that was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as his own music goes, he's just been a feature guy really for the most part for a while, right?
Yeah, and minimal at best. And like you said, that was what you said. What did you say, Twan? That was like 7 years ago.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
So it's just a super straight on dry spell, and he's an OG. It's always weird when people like that have multi-platinum records and they're kind of on this climbing streak, and then they just like fade away. It could be a multiple of reasons. Could be a drug addiction thing. It could be like just the fact that he's made enough money, he's just ready to just hang out for a while. I always wonder that same notion with like actors and actresses. They're like, damn, where'd this like amazing actor or actress go? They don't exist anymore. And there's they're not retired. Like, what's going on? But if they made that much money, maybe they're sitting on it. I don't know. But yeah, Busta Rhymes, man, just vanished, poof, gone. I don't really know.
What got you into him, Nate? What'd you like early on?
I don't know why. I think it's that early kind of grassroots, like I said, at Mike Danboys' house. This is like middle school, like in 7th grade maybe, and hearing what's that song?
Woo-ha. Got you all in check? Yeah.
And all that stuff, because it was kind of like me getting into hip hop around that time, and I'm like, all right, this shit's sweet. And we'd listen to it on the way to Thunder River to go ski and stuff. And obviously Mike D, shout out Mike D, not Beastie Boys Mike D, but our Mike D. He's a big hip hop guy. Yeah, but I just loved it, and I like the pace. I like how it's fast, and he's definitely like a battle rapper. Definitely, that's like his grassroots, He actually got beat by Eminem. That's like part of the reason Eminem probably got the courage to be like, you know what, I just beat Busta Rhymes. So
that's saying something, especially where Busta could go as fast and as hard as anybody for pound for pound. That guy had flow, and he could do it quick. And I just remember "Give Me Some Mo." Remember that song?
Oh yeah,
that's the song that I love. Yeah,
so good, and just like such a great beat, and his delivery is awesome in that song. Flip mode's the greatest.
Give Me Some Mo is one of my favorite songs.
The bump my
head. I bumped my head, and I woke up and said, "Flip mode's the greatest."
Yeah, never saw him live. Did see him, like I said it earlier.
You ran into him.
Yeah, when I lived in New York City, I ran into him in Lower Manhattan, Lower West Side, and just literally like brushed shoulders with him, like didn't see him, just boom, like hit shoulders, and he just like stared me down like he was gonna straight up kill me. I'm like, dude, like I didn't see. Oh my god, you're Busta Rhymes. Like it was weird. It's like one of those weird like brush with a celebrity type things.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked like he was gonna kick my ass. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry, man. I'm going on the way to class right now. Sorry.
I did that to Doug Flutie once, but he did not look like he was gonna kill me. He was like, oh, I'm just trying to go back the other way against a lot of people. You're cool. He was solid though for a guy who was shorter than me, 5'7" ish. He played in the NFL. He was a solid dude.
Yeah, and Busta Rhymes is a big dude too. Jack,
Yeah,
probably maybe it's all steroided out or something. I don't know.
That's a callback to episode 3. Our earliest music memories was The Coming. I remember I brought that up. The album The Coming with Wuha.
Yeah.
Episode 3. Yeah, 3 I think it was. So listen back.
I would say Busta's verse on Scenario, Tribe Called Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, man. That's kind of what got me into Tribe, and obviously kind of what tipped me off to how good Busta was. I was like, this is just awesome. Everything about that track, and then going and doing deep dives on both Tribe Called Quest and then Busta after that for me. So that's kind of how it got going for me.
90s hip hop is flawless.
Oh my God, right?
So good.
Those early Jay-Z records in the mid to late 90s are, just that feel, that vibe is different than what we have today.
Yeah.
Well, I liked,
so cool.
I think it was ELE, the album ELE that Busta put out.
Extinction Level Event.
Yeah. I think, is that the one that had Ozzy on it?
Ooh, let me look.
Ozzy Osbourne?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't. It might have been, but yeah, he's been kind of quiet for a while. I mean, he's probably pushing 50 now. I mean, he's getting older.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ozzy was on that. You're right. It came out in 98.
98, yeah.
98. Yep.
That makes sense. That's when Ozzy was on fire with Ozfest, and he got Black Sabbath back together in like 2000, 2001-ish. So yeah, he was still in good shape.
And that has Gimme Some Mo on it too. That's where that was a thing.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I remember hearing that at Mike D's house too, and that was 8th grade. That's the coolest. I always bring this up because like the years match the grade. So 98 was 8th grade. 03 was graduation high school.
Yep. That's a good one, Nate. I would not have guessed, but you're right. Like those early records was kind of his jumping off point, and then he's just kind of been a feature guy for a while for the most part.
Yeah, I was gauging it on the fact that like I there's some people that I want to see, and so I'm always waiting for them to tour, and usually a tour is around some kind of support of a record, or they're just touring for the lack of just to tour in general, but nothing on Busta Rhymes ever. There's a few like Rock the Bells festivals where he was on like kind of select dates, but then again that goes back to like 2010-ish or 11, 12, so nothing recent, and I'm always on the scour for artists that I haven't seen, literally to cross them off, and that's one that just keeps getting delayed, and it's going to happen now. But
yeah, I think with him, if we answer the question of the segment in a literal sense, like whatever happened to them, he's cashing back catalog checks, he's financially stable, and he's just the feature guy. I think that's what it is, and he's older, so he probably figures my best music's behind me. I'm hanging it up. Although I looked at his wiki, and he has a new album planned for 2020, I guess.
Yeah, that's what Nate said. Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, maybe because the last one was 2009, so it's been 11 years since he's put anything out. And I didn't visit that one or the one in 2006 either. I think probably the last one I checked out was 2002. So it's been a while for us.
Yeah. That 2012 and 2020 album that's supposed to drop, Twan, by the way, is a collab with Dr. Dre, so that's going to be pretty cool.
That could be good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's got potential. I mean, I'll check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely, especially nowadays. It's so easy to do.
Yeah.